Good morning everybody, Istanbul rider here. Let's start this a bit earlier to try and slow me down a bit. I'm still doing my 90 km/h limit. So what I wanted to touch on today was my advice for buying brand new or second-hand motorcycles. Just a few of the things that little tips that I think might help in order to make sure that everything goes through with as little problems as possible. This applies to buying first-hand or second-hand, as I said, and it's just my tips. I'd really appreciate if anybody else has had to learn any other things, any other tips, then, you know, by all means please share in the comments below, or if you've already discussed this before, point us to a video in the comments below. So number one, so I'm going to say what I did with my Kawasaki W800, which is the latest bike I've bought. And this is not my first bike by any means, so I've applied all of these things to this purchase and it has helped me out a lot. And even though I'm in another country compared to where I bought my previous bikes, most of the stuff still applies. So the first thing I did after having clearly identified the bike I wanted, in this case on an equivalent of like Auto Trader website, so a second-hand website, after being pointed there by a friend, well, let's take that back again. The first thing is, my friend recommended this. He then said he needed a bike, he needed a guy. So then I went to the website and had a look at the pictures and had a look at the details and said, yeah, that's definitely what I'm looking for. Once I'd done that, I then went onto the internet. Why did I go onto the internet? I went onto the internet to search for the Kawasaki W800 user forums. These are an absolute goldmine. Whether you're buying brand new or second-hand, it's irrelevant. Go to the internet and look for the user groups, the big user groups for your particular bike model, not just manufacturer, so Kawasaki, but model. And you will find a wealth of information about every possible incarnation of your bike, so every year. Perhaps in a particular year they changed it a lot, so that's not the case for my bike. For Daytona 675, for example, from Triumph, 2013 and 2014 models were completely re-engineered. So it's really important to know whether people are talking about the model and the year you are talking about or not, you are looking at or not. So first things first, that when you look on there, you'll find a number of pieces of information. You will find common things that go wrong with your bike and when they go wrong with your bike. Now, in a new bike, this is not so bad because you've got that 2-year warranty, but it's nice to know what should I be looking out for in that 2-year warranty. What are the things that could go wrong? Not, in fact, what are the things that often go wrong with my model, my year bike within its 2-year warranty? So things to keep an eye out for. What are the symptoms of those problems so that I know what to look out for? And then what's the procedure for getting those problems resolved? Is it something that I need to use the warranty on, or is it something I can just resolve myself? So common problems as well as common things that go wrong within your warranty period. Second thing you will find, thousands or hundreds of people who have modded their bike and the effects of those modifications, as well as loads of people explaining what is legal and what's not. So the things you can do to your bike that will affect it, say it's in England we call it the MOT, so you have a timed period at which you have to take your bike into a garage and it gets checked to make sure its roadworthiness is okay, and then gets stamped with an MOT saying yes, this vehicle is legally safe to be on the road and working. There are certain tests that are applied, such as noise violations, that if you modify the exhausts beyond a certain amount, it would fail on that. So then you have to, if you're going to make those changes, you have to know when the next MOT is coming up, or you have to know how to get around that. And so those forums tend to provide all of that information for you already. So modifications, as well as showing modifications, they also give you links to all the best suppliers, the costs and everything else. So if you're buying a brand new or a second-hand bike, this is really important. So your bike costs you $10,000, say, or $5,000. Okay, so you stump up your $5,000, and perhaps that's really close to the top of your budget. You then got insurance, and then if it's your first bike, you've got to buy all your kit, so your trousers, your jacket, your helmet, your gloves, at a bare minimum, some form of lock. Here we go, Captain Fantastic, it was an accident. Some kind of lock, and probably a cover too. And I would also say, by the way, at a bare minimum, some kind of chain lubrication, and perhaps a tub of oil. Now everyone says, a tub of oil, that doesn't cost much. No, it doesn't, but if you add it all up together and do it all in one go, with all the other stuff, it does. So you put your $5,000 down, then you go and buy all that stuff, and if you're going cheap, then you can get, you can get all that stuff for $500, say. That's $5,500. Then you got your insurance, then you got your registration. So you've done all that. Then you've got your petrol charges. Then you want to do modifications. Well, these sites are really good. What I did is I just created a little Excel spreadsheet or a Google Docs spreadsheet, and then as I was looking at all the different bikes, I just created a tab for each bike. I put the total cost to buy, or brand new or second hand, and then I put predicted failures and their times and costs, so inside warranty, outside warranty. I put the costs of mods, where they would come from, the website links that I'd found in all the forums, and then the best mods, the worst mods, all this kind of stuff, and their costs, and that gave me the actual cost of the bike to buy, including mods. So first year cost, then second year cost, and third year cost. People may not want to go into all that detail, but I did it and it makes a big difference, I'm telling you. Something that seems cheap to start off with actually ends up costing a lot. I was on adding a comment to one of Regular Dan's videos last night, and he basically said that why is the KTM Enduro so much more expensive than a lot of the others? And one of the reasons I said I thought it was, other than the fact that it's awesome, of course, and so KTM can charge more because it's brand value, is that it comes with all of the very, really, really good kit on it. You don't have to mod it. You really don't. To do anything, that KTM is kitted out. So that was my feeling, and if you do that comparison between, say, a KTM and a Honda, and then all the mods you want to do, actually they're quite comparable. That's not to say you can't do those things with a Honda. You can. You don't have to mod them, but if you want the same quality and everything, I think you do. Anyway, so mods. Use the forums for that. Use the forums for establishing the best websites and working out your costs. Insurance is something I touched on but I didn't really mention. So you'll want to look at the insurance costs. What kind of insurance costs are people getting in your area? If nothing else, just to have something to bargain with when you go to the insurance people. My bike, for example, that I've got now, my Kawasaki W800, actually has fantastic insurance. It's 3 times cheaper than my friends at work than it is for theirs. One of my friends has a Tiger Explorer Triumph 800, the other one has a Super Teniere, and one's 3 times cheaper. So it makes a big difference. Sorry about this, we're in Knobhead Alley at the moment. Insurance costs, yeah. So obviously you can go to price comparison sites and all that, but what I'm saying is if you check out the forums as well for that, generally there's people have experience on that, but also there are deals. If you go to the forums for specific bikes, sometimes there are really good discount deals that are offered direct to those forums. or for things like Google Ads, actually target that particular forum and that particular model. That's one of the advantages of targeted advertising. Nobody likes all of their information being punted around, but one of the good things is that a website with the correct metadata, which those forums have, otherwise you wouldn't be able to find them, so it clearly states this is a Kawasaki forum, this is for model W800. The insurance companies tell Google, any websites where you have Kawasaki and W800, offer them this. Straight away. So I mean, that targeted advertising can actually benefit us. So again, it's just worth remembering that and checking that stuff out. What else? So that's the forums pretty much covered.